Hi, I'm Chris from Air Windows, and hey, you can do a variety of things, but the reason I'm talking to you today, I'm, as you can see, kind of a little busy. I've got some drum work to do. I'm going to get my drum set up working better, and I think I have some novel ideas for what I can do with that. But the reason I'm talking to you is because I do other things besides just the plugins. And one of those things that I'm trying to do goes way back with me. I have played the game Minecraft before on stream. And there have been times that I did a funny, weird version of that didn't make a lot of sense to people. There's a thing called Snowball Madness. Well, recently I've worked out more or less what I was driving at with that stuff. And the interesting thing about Snowball Madness and the version that I came up with, I was going to share the whole thing with the White Sea Studios at one point. Nothing ended up coming of that, but I decided I was going to fire up the running a server thing again, which hopefully is up and running now. It is running a old version 1.12, and it's modded, but native vanilla clients, or I'm using this other client that I ran across that runs better on Apple Silicon. You don't have to run mods to run it. And it turns out what Snowball was about was post-scarcity Minecraft. So my idea is I'm going to be able to hang out talking with folks while playing this game. And I will be able to answer audio questions because that's kind of second nature. Whether I'm going to be able to do the game really well is another question. But here's the thing that we can do. As you can see, we're in a kind of Minecraft world. It is maybe a little weird. You can see how something is up. This doesn't look maybe normal by any stretch of the imagination. But that doesn't matter. We can play around with it anyhow. And you can see that we've got various stuff going on, and we've got a giant pit of doom. But guess what? This is Snowball Madness, so if you have things set up properly, that means you can do whatever you like and please yourself with it. So, for example, I have these firework rockets, and I don't have to have elytras or anything to fly around using those. It can also get yourself out of a tough situation. It also means if you have a terrible fall, such as into this dreadful hole, and that is selected, you won't get hurt. Mind you, you could conceivably get hurt by that fella down there, a skeleton. But you'll also notice I've got an arrow and more snowballs. So one thing I could do is fall down here. And I got myself blowed up by a creeper. I could fly out of there, I suppose. As you can see, this is not what you would call, that's going to fall back down, isn't it? Hope it doesn't hit me. This is not what you would call the most difficult game of Minecraft, but it's also not creative mode, because if I eat myself up into the sky and then don't have that selected, I will die. You might ask, what is that whole made by? And the answer to that would be things like this pickaxe. And I can scoot over here, for instance. And then if I have the pickaxe selected, why, it will let me kind of tunnel down as I go. Oh. I'm not sure what did that, but that hurt. Interesting. Oh, I know what did that. Gravel fell on me. See, there's the thing, is this is not creative mode. This is, oh, Snowball. I think I just heard a noise that sounded like a creeper. Maybe I was just imagining it. And Snowball Minecraft means that the rules are pretty much what you make them. You might wonder, what were those circles? Those circles were giant spheres made of snow. And that's part of how all of this stuff works. When I say it is a, oh, this is dark. You might be eaten by a grue. Like, you can certainly zip around a lot, and that's not killing me. And we also have these extremely good weapons. He's slaying a chicken at 6 million paces. Or that cow or anything. But here's an interesting thing. Okay, so there is chicken. Supposing I want to cook this chicken, or for instance, I could also want to replace the chicken. It doesn't make grown chickens, but if you use an egg, it'll make baby chickens. If you use just the chicken, nothing happens. But that doesn't mean we can't do the end of scarcity style Snowball Madness, because we can do this other thing. Notice how now I have that chicken in the first slot, and I have a rotten flesh here. If I do this, that just made a zombie. It's dressed in blue. They have sort of colors like the belts of a karate expert would be. And he was carrying the thing in my first slot. Now I have two. He will hit me if I give him a chance. Oh look, now I have four. He was carrying double what I had. This is post-scarcity Minecraft. If you can get a thing, you can have any amount of it. And so we've got that, or I do have some steak here. I don't have to do just uncooked chicken. 58 steak. The guy's coming at me. And now I have even more. But wait, supposing I wanted to kill him with a sword. Well, I could put that sword in my first slot. Let's see. If this goes wrong, I might need to get out of there. So we've got this guy. Up, look, that is a very shiny sword. And he has just dropped an instance of the same sword. It's almost all worn out, but it'll be random. But it gets worse. Supposing you have a bone instead. Now this can get messy, so I'm going to have this sword on hand in this other slot and also be able to eat myself out of there. Check this out. The zombies got more and more powerful, but then so are my shots more and more powerful. However, these skeletons are a little different. Bet you never saw anything quite like that before. So normally what we have to do, playing around, I don't want to use that right now. Normally, if we are duplicating things using the skeletons, you might want to place them in a particular location, like in here, where he can't zip around like a maniac. Or indeed make lots of them and hope they don't get out of their box. And in this way, you can have all the wonderful eggs you might want. Notice that this floor, this slabbed floor, is all made up out of hoppers, and that's how I get these eggs, as well as a whole bunch of things like quartz and whatever. Because this is post-scarcity Minecraft. I decided I wanted to make this thing with the hoppers, and so I started with one hopper and then just kind of kept going, and I duplicated them up. And this is stuff that is on the server right now. I'll probably move to an entirely different location and bring some of these things with me. I've got a whole bunch of basically junky things. I've got a bunch of fancier things. These are handy. I traded a cleric for a single bottle of enchanting, which means that now I have all the bottles of enchanting you could ever want, because the zombie or skeleton can carry a stack of them, and so I can duplicate them as I please. I have a bunch of these swords. As you can see, they come in different newnesses. A bunch of light. I did make, not the ender pearls, but I did make eyes of ender, although I haven't gone to anywhere yet. Here's some more of those hoppers. Here's a copy of my diamond pick. So I made one of those. Also, when I went over to deal with the villagers, I got an emerald, and that meant I could have as many stacks of emeralds as I wanted. Post-scarcity. The game is figuring out how to do various stuff. Now, this was an idea that I had to deal with those crazy skeletons, because they go at demonic speed, faster and faster, the more high, the better your experience is. But if you have thorns on you, then when they hit you, they hurt themselves and will eventually tire out. It's not that effective, but it is one way of doing it. And I did this with, here's more of those picks, some lapis and enchanting books to have things like, I have all the silk touch I want, I have a bunch of sleeping edge, I made a bunch of thorns and so on. Here's more of those hoppers. I made this path down into the nothingness by using that same pickaxe trick that I showed you. And you might ask, let's see, how can I do this? Do I have regular stone? Why, yes, I do. You might ask, how did I make all of this quartz and have it look this way? And the answer is quite simple. I have color changing and material changing snowballs as well. If you have quartz or stone or different kinds of, it's not catching that well, or different kinds of terracotta, clay, or stained clay. And there is a nice little, is it dark? It is dark. Although we can probably, monsters. How frightening. There was a mesa biome around here somewhere. I was thinking of getting quartz, but perhaps that's not actually what I want to do. What I want to do is head back home if I can even find it. There it is. Or in the rough vicinity. No, there's the giant hole. So here we are. And we got our wonderful arrows for no scarcity and firepower as well. And back home we head. Because again, the thing with this post-scarcity Minecraft that I've devised, the ways of dealing with these various things are not really about any given thing being difficult or challenging. It's about keeping track of what you're doing and imagining stuff to do. Because as you might well imagine, there's a lot of stuff around here where here, let's being a gravy boy in this game is not exactly hard. That is me using a single thing of dynamite mind you, if I hit a thing of dynamite and it struck that leaf block, I probably would have blown myself up. This stacks, so if you use a full stack of dynamite, it will probably blow you up no matter how much XP you've got or what you're doing. One of the things you can do is if you have a ender chest, well, you can set up an ender chest, and then if you blow yourself up, you can get stuff back. But yeah, the idea here is this is not survival, this is not creative, this is some sort of weird unholy hybrid of both. And the question becomes, what do you want to do under these circumstances? Like, for instance, here, supposing we want to get rid of this remnant of Snowball. We could blow it up with TNT. That's always fun. We could take this pickaxe. Let's take this one instead. The iron pickaxe is a smaller one, so the pickaxe makes stuff simply disappear rather than blowing it up and leaving the snowball pieces there. But you'll notice I just made this area disappear as well, which means I may have truncated the top of some trees, or indeed I just removed that tree entirely. And whether or not that was what you meant to do, well, that's what just happened. Then the answer is, then what? Again, post-scarcity Minecraft. You have all of everything that you can get your hands on, as much of it as you could possibly want. The question is what to do with that. Oh, look, it's a wooden shovel. I could make a path. Granted, I can use a shovel and like left click and so on, but this is a way of doing the shovel with no durability. Or, if I remember correctly, oh, but hang on, there was something over here that I was going to pay attention to. we've got a axe. So the axe with this snowball makes the wood. It's supposed to make the good wood go away. Okay, so let's use a more powerful axe, a diamond axe. And now both of those pieces of wood went away, not just the one. So again, the game of this is not in any particular thing being difficult, but in figuring out what you want to do creatively and trying to do it. Just griefing stuff and blowing it up is pretty trivial. If people come and play on this and they grief it and blow it all up, what I could simply do is just start deleting chunks and having them go back to the original, which is why I would say have stuff in an ender chest, if you can, just in case things have to reset. But as you can see, we can do a lot of wild stuff here. The specific list of stuff is this. Oh, and you can't quite read it because my head is blocking the way. So these are the things you could do. I'm not sure how easily you can read that. And the reason there are those giant snow spheres that have been partially removed is because I did Snowball, helmet on top of it, and snow block on top of that. And that caused some very, very, very big spheres to happen, and not in the most controllable way. So, there you have it, really. Of course, you can amuse yourself in other ways. Where's my iron ingots? There we are. You might have seen that it said, if you have iron ingots, they serve as a magnet. What would that mean, you may ask? Something like this. Now, if you do this too roughly, you will end up hurting the creatures. But it also removes fall damage. So and let me see, what else can we do? Oh, scaffolding. Let's make that out of, let's make it out of slab instead, shall we? So let's see. Supposing we wanted to, I can't really do that on that, can I? But I can do this. Or I could have flown on the top of that. So imagine that I was going to use this birch wood to make a big tall stack. Except for, this is Snowball. So as long as I don't knock myself off of there and have to scramble for the firework rocket, I didn't use any of that birch wood in order to make that stack go up that high. Then we have made, with these slabs, a thing kind of like this. So if you were building some kind of house and you wanted to put floors in after having put in some kind of giant, I don't know, used a cylinder or a sphere to make your giant doom platform of obsidian or glowstone or whatever else you wanted, you could do something like this. And that might not be what you wanted to do. In which case you could also go like this. Oh no. I think maybe I want to get away from there. And then let us continue to remove the, see, this is why I picked wood rather than the stone slabs, because I wouldn't be able to burn the stone slabs up. Of course, if I miss any of these, then rather than setting that particular slab on fire, it will fall down and start getting these animals and chicks and things, and I don't feel like doing that, so we're not going to. That's not a very good axe. Where'd my good axe go? I would have sworn I had a good axe around here somewhere. Anyways, point being, the idea of post-scarcity Minecraft is not that dissimilar to what I do with the plugins. I'm trying to set you up in that way so that in serious things like making music and so on, there's no real limit to the amount of stuff that you can have, the plugins that you can use in order to do what you want to do with. And this is like a game version of that, but in the Minecraft world, where pretty much if you can imagine it, you can do it. The question is whether you're doing it with terrifying power tools that wind up blowing you up or going horribly wrong, because that's kind of the funny part of it. And my hope is that people will join me on this server and you'll have fun of your own, just fooling around doing this kind of stuff. I'll probably take some of my things. Here's a bunch of my things, but remember, I only need to take one of each thing. And then I can replicate it all with a single snowball and a single piece of rotten flesh. Or, of course, a bone. So on that note, I'll jump back to the studio. Well, I don't know if that's interesting to you, but it's been interesting to me for a while, and I'm probably going to spend some time derping around on that, especially at times when I need to do a stream, answer people's questions, engage with people a little bit more. So hopefully we can have some fun with that. Like I said, it's not the most important thing in the world, but it can't hurt. Why not? And I'll talk to you later. And we'll continue coming out with my plugins in my usual way. Bye-bye.